Yeah, so I grew up around a lot of aviation. And my dad was a pilot of a single-engine airplane. He had a Piper Arrow, and then after that, a Beechcraft Bonanza. And we would fly as a family to most of our vacations. We would fly to Florida. We flew to the Bahamas once. We flew out west all the way to Colorado, Utah, Arizona. So we were always in and around airplanes. Never got my pilot's license. I made it as far as soloing. I soloed a few times, and then my dad had to sell his airplane to raise some money for a business project. And then after that, it was just too expensive to do any flight training. So a couple of years ago, I went to go and finish my license, and I decided to postpone that, and instead I bought an RC airplane, kind of on a whim. It was for my birthday. I decided to buy myself a birthday present, and we were over by the hobby store, and so I stopped in and ended up leaving with the RC airplane that the hobby store recommended. Flying for me is probably like fishing is for other folks. I go with a friend of mine and we set up a table and a tent and solar panels, and we do a lot of relaxing and talking and kicking back as we're waiting for batteries to charge, or we're working on planes on the ground. And it's really about community. It's really about the time spent with a friend over a common interest. We'll make goals of distances and other kinds of milestones that we're hoping to reach with our planes. We help each other with our planes. Do I think when I retire I'm going to fly planes all day every day? Probably not all day every day, but hopefully a lot. It's been a good therapy for me to have a technical challenge, to be outside, to be with friends, and to enjoy what I call the magic of aviation. Every time I'm in a real airplane and taking off and seeing the ground from the sky, or even when we fly our models and we see that from the video, I think it's a miracle. I think it's magic. And will that wear off? I don't know. Probably not, but we'll see.